My father built a church that could hold 2,800 people, but not enough space in his heart for his own daughter. 2 weeks before my wedding, he stood on that stage, the same one where he preached about grace every Sunday, and told everyone he wouldn't be attending my wedding. Not privately, not quietly, publicly, with a microphone in his hand, and me sitting in the front row. He said I was making a mistake. He said I was choosing damaged goods. He said godly women don't take on another woman's burden. That burden was a 6-year-old little girl. And the man I loved, a widower who had spent years raising her alone, after losing his wife in the most sudden, devastating way imaginable. I didn't cry in that moment. I didn't stand up. I didn't defend myself. I just sat there, while 2,800 people listened to my father reduce my future family into something shameful. My name is Mary. I was 29 years old when I realized something that would change my life forever. You can grow up hearing about love your whole life, and still never actually experience it until you step outside everything you were taught. I grew up in a world where everything looked perfect. Perfect clothes, perfect smiles, perfect family sitting in the front row every Sunday. Cameras always rolling, people always watching. My mother used to fix my hair before service like it was part of the sermon. "Do you want people to think we're falling apart?" she'd whisper. I was 12 the first time she said that. Back then, I thought she was talking about appearance. Now I know she meant reputation. In our house, love had rules, unwritten but understood. Don't embarrass the family. Don't question leadership. Don't choose anything that complicates the image. And definitely, don't marry someone with a past. My brother followed those rules perfectly, married the right girl from the right family with the right background. My father beamed with pride at his wedding. I thought that's what life looked like, until I met Ethan. I met him at a school event. Nothing dramatic, no music playing, no perfect moment. Just a little girl reading a book out loud to other kids, and a man standing quietly behind her, watching her like she was his entire world. That little girl was his daughter, and when the event ended, while everyone else packed up and left, he stayed behind, picking up trash no one asked him to pick up. That was the first thing I noticed about him. Not his words, not his beliefs, his actions. Later, I learned his story. His wife had died during childbirth. One night she was alive, and by morning she was gone. Just like that. He didn't remarry, didn't run away, didn't collapse. He stayed. He raised their daughter, alone, every day, every night, every moment. He learned how to braid her hair. He showed up to every school event. He read to her before bed. He wrote letters to his late wife, telling her about their daughter's life, like she was still part of it. No audience. Just love. That's when everything started to break inside me. Not in a painful way, but in a revealing one. Because for the first time I realized something was missing from the life I grew up in. We talked about grace every Sunday, but I had never actually seen it. When Ethan proposed, his daughter stood next to him holding a sign, "Will you be my bonus mom?" That was the easiest yes of my life. But it was also the moment I unknowingly stepped outside everything my family believed in. My parents didn't yell. They didn't scream. They did something worse. They stayed calm, cold, controlled. "What will people think?" my mother asked. "A widower with a child," my father said, like it was something to be fixed. Not understood, not respected. Fixed. They didn't say no right away. They suggested I wait, think, reconsider. They offered counseling, not to help us, to change my mind. And when I didn't, they chose their image over me. They refused to attend my wedding, not because Ethan was a bad man, not because his daughter wasn't wonderful, but because of how it would look. That was the moment I stopped trying to convince them, because you can't explain love to people who only understand reputation. Our wedding was small, simple, real. No cameras, no spotlight, no performance. Just people who chose to be there. And then came the moment that changed everything. Ethan's daughter walked down the aisle holding a rolled-up sign. Halfway down, she stopped. She opened it, turned it toward everyone. And in her small, careful handwriting, it said, "My daddy says love means showing up. Mary shows up for us every day. That's why she's my family now." And underneath, "My mommy in heaven sent her. I know it." The entire world seemed to stop. No music, no movement, just silence. And then people started crying. Not polite tears, real ones. Because in that one moment, a 6-year-old said more about love than most people ever do in their entire lives. That video went online later that night. By morning, thousands had seen it. By the end of the week, millions. And suddenly the story my parents tried to keep controlled wasn't theirs anymore. People started asking questions, not about me, about them. How can someone preach love and not show up for their own daughter? That question spread faster than anything else. And for the first time in my life, the image cracked. Church attendance dropped. People started whispering, then talking, then questioning. Not just my parents, everything. Meanwhile, my life finally felt real. No stage, no pressure, no pretending, just a home filled with laughter, messy dinners, bedtime stories, and a little girl who didn't care about image. Only presence. My parents eventually reached out, not to apologize, to fix the narrative. That's when I knew nothing had changed. So I set boundaries. Not out of anger, out of clarity. Because love without respect isn't love. And family without presence is just a title. A year later, we went back to the same place we got married. Same garden, same path, same feeling. Ethan stood next to me. Anna held my hand, and she asked, "Can we come here every year?" I smiled and said, "Every year." Because that's what love does. It shows up. Again and again and again. My father had a stage, a microphone, thousands of people listening to him every week. But in the end, a 6-year-old girl with a handwritten sign taught the world something he never could. Love isn't what you say, it's who you show up for. And that day, the people who mattered most showed up. And the ones who didn't, they taught me exactly who they were.